I was thinking, it often happens in our lives that people come at us full of criticism, and they just, at work, in your family, with your friends, who knows, but people will be really upset and just come at us and say, you're this and you're that, and you do this and you do that, and on and on and on and on, and just blast us. So we usually have two patterns of how we react, although maybe some people, think of your own experience, maybe there's more than these two patterns. But what I observe is usually people either get very defensive and they get angry and say, who are you to say that about me, and I don't have that kind of quality, and you're projecting your rubbish on me, and yeah. So that's one style. And then the other style is, oh, I'm so sorry, I really didn't mean to offend you, please forgive me. We just kind of backpedal because we don't like the criticism and we don't want somebody to dislike us. Okay, so we just trip over our apologies. Yeah. So see if you can think of more than those two styles, but I frequently see those two. But I was thinking about it, and NVC presents a third way to do it, okay? Where you're not blasting the other person back, you're not backpedaling and apologizing, but with a compassionate attitude, you're really interested in what's going on with that other person, and you really want to help them. In other words, your focus is shifting away from your dislike of criticism to what's going on with the other person. So then we might say, somebody said something, and we might say, wow, you sound really angry. Do you need communication? Or you sound really upset. Do you need cooperation? Or whatever it is we think the person is feeling, and taking a wild guess at what they might need. And this really produces a discussion. Sometimes the person may need to vent a while more, and they may say, yeah, you're really right, I am angry because you did blah, 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 blah. And then, or you are blah, blah. Maybe it's not a specific incident, it's a general, blast at who you are as a human being. And so to say that, to the other person, and they come back and say, yeah, you really are bossy, blah, 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 blah. And say, wow, gee, you sound really disturbed. And this is weighing on your mind, and you really need, clarity on the issue, or whatever it is, but you use the NVC form of what you think they may be feeling and what you think they may be needing. And as Marshall often illustrates, when he does these role plays, you may have to go through rewording what somebody's said many, many times as they really get it all out for what it is that's bothering them. Yeah, and then at a certain point, when they feel heard, then the whole dynamic changes, and sometimes all they need is just to be able to air their complaints and criticisms. After they do, they're done, finished, the relationship goes back to normal. No further discussion is really needed. Yeah, from their side. From our side, we may feel wounded to the heart and, need to go through each particular criticism they delivered and discuss it in depth about how it relates to this and that and the other thing and this and who and how and boo and, that. Okay. So, we may have that need. Or we may also decide that we can drop it too. They got it all out. They're feeling okay. we drop it, you know? Or if we need, you know, after they are more, you know, they're calmer, then maybe it's time for us to express our feelings and needs and go through some of this other kind of conversation that we need to have to straighten things out. Okay? So you have to see, you know, in each situation kind of what our response is going to be after they finally, you know, when they get through saying what it is that they need to say. But if we can slow down and do this, then it really results in some nice communication and some good exchanges. And the other person will learn something and will also learn something. Okay? But what is it that prevents us from using NVC when these circumstances happen? Yeah, it's like we study NVC, we role play it, but when somebody, you know, trashes us in front of our face, NVC is out the window, and we go into our 2 defensive modes. Okay, so here is where we really see where the self-centered mind gets in the way. Because here's somebody who's upset, and we go back to, what are they thinking about me? What are they saying about me? How am I going to defend myself? Yeah, and we can so easily see how self-centeredness gets in the way. So it's really a practice, you know, when that kind of thing happens, to notice what's going on in our own mind and be able to mentally take a step back and say, okay, you know, I just had an internal flare-up in reaction to what this person said, but, you know, right now my feelings and needs are going to come second, and I'm going to pay attention to what's happening with this other person. Okay? And so it's this same self-centered thought that prevents us from practicing thought training when somebody criticizes us too. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, we've thought training's out the window, NVC's out the window, you know, we're out the window. Yeah, so it's this thing of really slowing down, and, you know, sometimes I find saying to myself, you know, okay, I'm having an internal reaction, that's fine, I don't need to express it right now, I need to shift my gears and pay attention to what's happening in the person in front of me. Yeah? Okay, so to do this, I think in our meditation, we need to do a lot of rehearsal. And so to take out situations that have happened in the past, you know, and as we remember them, sometimes we may even once again immediately go into our defensive mode. You know, and if we do, notice it. Wow, this situation isn't even happening right now, and I'm still defensive about what they said to me 3 years ago. Yeah, or 3 minutes ago, or whatever it is. You know, but watch that and look at it and see the self-centeredness behind it. And then see if you can just step back. Yeah, and in thought training, what would you do to handle it? In NVC, how would you have the dialogue with the other person? Okay? Sometimes you use thought training to get your mind calmer, then you use NVC to dialogue with the other person. Okay? But these are opportunities that are actually quite rich for practice if we notice them and if we can notice our instantaneous afflictive reaction and, you know, let the air out of it. Possible or impossible? Possible. Difficult or easy? Difficult. Yeah. Something to do or something to not do? Okay. Yes?
I like your story that you told us about being in Tibet on horseback and someone just blew up at you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you had NVC as a response, you just handed all that to your self-centered thought.
Yep.
And was there any dialogue that you had with that fellow?
I don't think we had any dialogue after that. Yeah. Yeah, he was sometimes a difficult person, but I think he was frustrated. He got it all out. And then the next day we were going on to Lamo Lazzo, so our focus was on being at this holy lake. At least that was my focus, Yeah, that evening we were too exhausted. We slept, woke up the next day, continued on. Yeah, I don't remember a dialogue with him. Yeah?
There's also the pattern of retreating and isolating oneself.
Yeah. Of not dealing with it, yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's a good one. So that one's kind of, it falls with no, it is a different one. Yeah, it is different than tripping over yourself apologizing, because you may still be angry and aggressive, but you're withdrawing from the situation so that you don't have to engage. Yeah, because if you engage, who knows what in the world's going to happen. Yeah, so better isolate. We feel really happy isolating, don't we? Yeah, that really brings peace in the mind.
It's interesting how you don't admit guilt or you don't even consider it. You're just thinking about the other person.
Yeah, exactly.
Later you can evaluate whether you actually did something wrong or not.
Right. Yeah. Because maybe what the person needs is not an apology. What they need is to be heard. Yeah. And then when the time comes, like I said, sometimes after it, you can drop it. Sometimes then it's time for you to express your needs and feelings and needs.